Hello, my Capricorn friends. This is Jill with the Healing Moon Tarot, and today we're going to do your September 2018 general reading. I apologize that I'm running later than I had hoped with these. I was having a rough week last week, not feeling well. So I'm feeling much better, and I feel like I can do good readings. I just did Sagittarius, and that went well, so let's get some cards pulled for you. We're going to do two separate kind of spreads today, or I'm going to at least make them appear to be separate, just for time-wise and how I've been saving my files lately. It makes it a little easier for me to get them uploaded. All right, Capricorn, let's pull this one. Be in service. So how are you going to be in service this month? Whether it's emotional support service for another person, in service physically helping someone, in service supporting someone, in service being and how you influence others, those kinds of things may play a big role for you this month. It would at least be worth having conversations with yourself about your service as a human being. Charity is a huge part of who we are and how we live healthy lives. So talking to yourself about why and how you are charitable to others, whether it be financially or emotionally, those types of things. So what we're going to do for this first reading is I'm going to pull a card for your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual space. Sometimes more than one card comes out, and then we will move on to some more in-depth stuff. So we're going to start with your mental space this month. You might be a little indecisive or taking a pause to reevaluate your emotional connections and what are good, healthy relationships or ones that may not be serving you. And this goes back to being in service of others. Who are you giving your time to? Are they worth your time? Are they worth your energy? Are they worth your commitment to them as a person? So mentally this month, it may be weighing out your options and saying who and what in my life is worth my time and worth my service. Let's pull a card for your physical space. I'm not taking all those. That was a big chunk that fell out. We don't got time for all of that. We have the 7 of coins. So in your physical space, this is about patience and cultivating long-term ideas. This person has obviously planted this, and each one of these coins is kind of representing a fruit that he can then use and has some worth to it, right? So I really like to think about this as you reap what you sow, and there's things in our lives that we have to tend to. And if we just throw them to the wayside, they may, if he wasn't standing here and being patient and putting in the effort, like he's holding his tool, and he hadn't put in the time, put in the energy, put in the work. Um, Even if he did all that and then he just walked away, the fruit may go bad, or a bug or a parasite could show up and start damaging it. So it's about putting in the effort and then being patient and mindful, and okay, this leaf has turned brown. I need to remove that from the plant so it doesn't negatively affect what else is going on here. So in your physical space, this may be setting up long-term stuff, putting in work, understanding there is a patience that comes along with whatever we're trying to create in our lives, whether this be at your job, at your home, going to school, those kinds of things of, I understand that this is work. I understand that I have to I am going to reap what I sow in this life. And if I want my life to be this one certain way, what kind of energies and where do I need to put my time and my energy to create it to be such? And Capricorns are really typically good at being mindful and making a plan, and however, but it's the execution of it that gets tricky sometimes. So yes, you have this plan and you've really thought things out and so forth, but the actual physical work, are you putting in the time and the effort, not just mentally, but physically? This is a physical card coming out in your physical card spot. The coins are earth cards. Sorry, excuse me. So are you putting in the work? Are you being diligent and creating the life that you want? And are you willing to understand that some of these seeds that you planted are going to take time and they're going to take work, and you have to keep revisiting and putting in that kind of energy so it can manifest for you in your life. And I see this as being in service to yourself. That's you investing long-term in what you want. I'm thinking down the road. I'm not thinking about right now. This is not instant gratification here. So let's pull a card for your emotional space. The Four of Wands. So this may be very, your emotional space may be very centered around home, around some kind of festivity, some kind of ceremony, some kind of bringing together of, like here, it always kind of seems to look like a wedding or a graduation or something. And I always think of four pillars as kind of like the four corners of our home. So emotionally, you may be very intertwined in ideas of creating a space that's celebrated, or being able to celebrate things, or to be in a positive space emotionally. And how can you be in service to this kind of energy in your life? Now, for some, this may be you want this really bad, or some it may be you already have this and you're trying to stay connected to that. With this card coming out for your mental space of this this clarification on which of these cups are for you and which are not, then this coming in your emotional space, I think this is the combination of two, mentally being more aware of what serves you and what feels good and what you are connected to emotionally is going to help you stay focused on the relationships that deserve to be celebrated. So, special friendships, even your parents or your kids or your spouse or your family unit in some way. I'm just really feeling that through self-discovery of what am I really connected to, it'll allow you to be more grateful and experience more joy in your personal space when you don't put energy into the ones of these that aren't for you. Like this monster that's not for you. You know what I mean? The snake's probably not for you either. So if you're going, this is for me and that's for me, and I'm going to connect to that emotionally, you can appreciate these moments more in life because you're with people that you have that true connection with, if that makes sense. I feel like that was a lengthy explanation to get there. But let's pull some cards for your spiritual space. And we have the 4 of coins, so another 4. And I almost see this as not being spiritual in a way. This may be holding very close to or like grasping to our physical space more than our spiritual space. It could be also grasping onto spirituality as well. This person always, this card, when it comes up, this person always has this sense of greed a little bit because of how, his coins are under his feet, grasping his arm, crowning his head, like it's something that's very important to him, kind of too important to him. So he's grasping, he's holding so tightly, but these are physical space cards, they're earth cards. Coming out in a spiritual space immediately made me think of you grasping tightly to earth and not being open to the spiritual side of life. And I'm not telling you have to go to church or join some kind of group or anything like that. If that is not a part of your life, that's okay. We all have our own spirituality in some way, even if it's just within ourselves, connecting to who we are on a soul or spirit level, however, whatever that word is for you, that is your consciousness, if you will. So if spirituality isn't something that you do, or even if it is, but right now you're really concentrated on earthly stuff, on the physical body and what we physically, tangibly have, our jobs and our homes and our cars and our stuff and our, that stuff, our body. You may just be really inside your body this month and not so much experiencing spirituality. And that's okay. I personally ebb and flow on how much time and effort and so forth that I put into that. And sometimes I'm just a human and I'm not thinking about the fact that I have a spirit or whatever, a soul or whatever you want to call it. So, if that's you this month and you are kind of closed in on just what is tangible in your life, that's okay. As long as everything's being done in a healthy manner. You just really may need to be in your physical body this month, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video, move the cards around, and then we're going to start the second half of the reading. So one moment. All right. I've just moved the other the other cards up out of the way. I can still see them and reference them and pull them down if I need to talk about them. but we are going to pull a bunch more cards now from this other deck and see what kind of information comes out. So the first card we're going to pull is just kind of the main energy for the month, what may be playing the biggest role in our life this month, something that we need to pay attention to. Well, apparently there's a lot happening. We have the Three of Cups, the Tower, and the Six of Coin. So, the Three of Cups has a lot to do with, I always see this as a party card. These are like your party friends. These are the connections, like the girls' night in that you have. That doesn't mean that they're not close friends or real friends or best friends, that kind of thing. But these are the people that when you need to let loose and have a good time a lot of times, or they are like some my two friends that come over and we kind of have these moments of, it's almost like therapy with the three of us. We just get together, talk, hang out. A lot of times we have an activity. We painted last time. We didn't even talk to each other at all, like about anything. We were so into like painting and creating together, which is funny because one of those people is a Capricorn and she's been anxiously awaiting this reading, which I think is cute. So hi. So that could be a main energy for you this month, pulling the 7 back down of who do I need to give my attention, my time, and my energy to. And this also coming with the 6 of coins, the coin or the card of charity, of give and take, and what do I have to offer others? How can I be in service to others? And what do I need from others? I do not have this, and being willing to say, I need this, and having people be charitable to you as well. This exchange of being in service to each other and being vulnerable with each other and can say, I need help, or saying, I can help you, and not giving away what we don't have, and not taking what we don't need, and this balance and give and take. And I think that's a beautiful card with the 3 especially, but we have the Tower here in the center, and the Tower is a deconstruction. You know, it's obviously this tower is being crumbled to the ground, and it's not always that dramatic, but this is a deconstruction of something in your life, whether some kind of change that makes us uncomfortable. It's like, okay, but I'm so used to things being this way, but that's not there anymore. This deconstruction can cause anxiety or make us upset sometimes and make us uncomfortable because we don't know what to expect now. But I always see this card as such an opportunity because it's going to tear down the walls and going to give you the option to rebuild things how you want them to be rebuilt. And with it being flanked by these 2 cards, this is support and service from others. And or if this is in someone else's life, this is your ability to be in service, to have that connection, to be that friend, to be that someone that can say, I can serve you, I can help you. Now, Capricorn, I know a lot of you do way too much for others. You try to people please, and it's not because you want somebody to accept you. A lot of you just feel like that's part of who you are. I want to help people. It makes me feel good to help people. But I think it's very important to be very crystal clear with this energy. You are not for me. I do not have the time and the energy to give you. I have to focus on myself and the people that deserve my service, deserve my time, deserve my energy. So please don't be scared by that Tower card. If you are having a hard time, I'm sorry. And I hope you can take comfort in knowing that you do have a support team around you, and that if you're willing to say, I need help, that there will be people that are willing to share with you and to support you and to love you. And that friend of mine's probably like, girl, you know I love you. Okay. Let's pull a card for your challenge. Queen of Wands. It may be a challenge, since this is the challenge part, to find your own creative instinct right now. The Queen of Wands energy is always she's fire, right? She's this intense fire energy, and she's passionate and excited and creative and ready to make the world prettier, better. And she's, I see her energy as very enthusiastic and engaging and charismatic. You know what I mean? So that may be very hard for you to engage those kind of energies right now if this is happening, and you're trying to be patient and you're trying to be wise about where you put your energy, and you may be a little depleted. Well, we do have the other Wands card up there in your emotional space, but that may be a little depleted for you this month if you're much so more in your physical world, which we have 3 coin cards coming out already, and dealing with other people's stuff and trying to feel like, how am I going to be in service to others? Let's pull Let's pull some strength cards for you this month to see what strengths your personal strengths you should be utilizing right now. We have the 2 of coins. In my other deck, this is shown with an infinity sign, and it looks like he's juggling. This card always makes me think about being flexible and being able to go with the flow in this back and forth weighing, and sometimes just this juggle effect, this flexibility of movement and being able to take and deal with more than one thing at a time. And that's gonna, with all the other cards that's coming out, I'm seeing this as a very, you need to understand you don't have to be really rigid. And I see him as very rigid, and this guy's kind of, he doesn't look excited. You know, patience, they say patience is a virtue for a reason, you know, like it doesn't come super easy to all of us. So with another 2 coming out, or another coin coming out, but this time coming in your strengths of flexibility, just remind yourself that you are capable of letting some of this rigidity go, and understanding you don't always know this next step, you don't always have a plan, you don't always have everything right everything's not going to show up how you want it to match this prefabricated idea that you have of how things are supposed to go. I, for one, appreciate that most Capricorns are pretty forward thinking, and but it can put you into a state of expectation when you've made all these plans and one little thing goes off and it throws you so off tilt that you can't recover and make the best of the situation or get as much done as you thought or whatever. So you are capable of being flexible. You are capable of handling more than one thing at once. You're capable. I'm thinking of like those jugglers that like have people throw stuff into them and it gets harder and harder and harder, and they until they have the like chainsaws flying around their head or whatever. But I'm not telling you to juggle chainsaws, but I'm telling you to pull on the strength that you've got this. You have the ability to roll with the punches here, if you will. You have the ability to understand that there are these moments, and you just need to not be so rigid with yourself as sticking to this plan. Is what I'm feeling from that card coming there. We're going to pick a couple. Let's do suggestion. Judgment. So what was the first thing you thought of when I said the word judgment? Are you judging yourself? Are you judging others? Are you falling into this role of being worried about what other people think, or being worried about doing things right? Are you worried about being held accountable at some point for not playing this game right? You know what I mean? Like, that's the feeling I'm getting here with this coming out in a suggestion card. Start asking yourself questions about your relationship with judgment. And this is probably going to be in quite alignment with this. But I have to be connected to this thing because it's right. There isn't a right or a wrong. At the end of the day, you're right and wrong and what matters. So if one of these doesn't feel good to you, why is it in your mental space? It's not for you. Don't let other people's judgments or your judgments of yourself, where you sit and you're like, but it's right or it's wrong, or so-and-so says or so-and-so believes. No, what do you believe? What do you connect to? What do you feel right about? And I know you can be very judgmental of yourself. It's what causes a lot of our anxieties and our social responses. And this coming out as a suggestion, I think it's very important for you to have some conversations with yourself about what that word means to you, how it shows up in your life, how are you allowing it to affect your decision making, your decision making, those types of things. We're going to pull a need to know card next. The Four of Wands, which we already have in your emotional space, and your King of Coin or Pentacle here. We have a lot of earth coming through. A lot of it. I think it's playing a huge role in your life right now of what do you do for a living? How do you support yourself? What is your budgeting? Where are you sitting financially? Where do you find worth in your physical world? What stuff do you have that feels right in your space? What kind of stuff do you want in your space? What are you working towards? What is this you're being patient with? And what work are you doing now? What is it going to create for you in your future? And how do you feel about that? So I think this is all coming down to your emotional space. You want to be in a place. This was up here. These are the same cards. You want to be in this feel-good space. You want to be in this place that feels special and joyful and exciting and all of these things. I think this month is just gearing you towards understanding the work that it takes to get there, that our physical world cannot be neglected, and think that our emotional, spiritual, whatever space is going to be delightful if we're not putting in the work in our physical space and having a real understanding of what worth is to us. So I just see these need to know cards are coming out as you, like an urging to be more aware of what these energies mean to you in your physical space. What is, where is your scale balanced, right? When do you have enough, and when have you given enough, and how does this balance out for you, and this maturity that's evolving in you to understand your physical space and what it means to you and how it feels to you. I think this was a really beautiful month, or reading for the months. Capricorn, I enjoyed doing it. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, I would love to hear from you. You can leave me a comment down below or hit me up on one of my other social medias. I would absolutely love a thumbs up if this resonated with you. Feedback from people is so important in this, and it sucks when you don't get much. And if you'd like to hear from me again, remember to subscribe so I will show up in your feed. All right. Thanks for spending time with me today, Capricorn. We will see you soon. Bye.